Okay, so part two, if you recall, I was saying how I was started to get that energy spike, and it's something I never had before. And I was taking a lot of iron. I was taking 3 doses of 60 milligrams of elemental iron, so 180 milligrams of elemental iron a day. And I went to Costco, and because if I'm going to be taking all of this iron, I might as well get a giant bottle instead of buying a bottle with 50 in it that's going to last me less than a month. So I went to the pharmacist at Costco, and I told him what I was taking. Ferrous sulfate is the one that the dietitian recommends, just because it's the easier tolerated by the bariatric stomach. And so I was telling him I was taking three doses, 180 milligrams, and he said, well, maybe if you try a different salt, because they're coming out with different salts. The salt, of course, is the sulfate of ferrous sulfate. Ferrous, of course, is the iron. And they're coming out with different salts, and different salts are absorbed in different ways. So he recommended Optifer, and I said, okay, I'll give it a shot. And I was taking it, and I didn't PPS, I don't remember where we're at. The amount of iron is contributing to the constipation, by the way. So Optifer, and I was taking 3 tablets of the ferrous sulfate, so I figured out to take 3 tablets of the Optifer. And so I just continued on, and I started to get tired, and I couldn't figure out why, and then work it's monopolized my life. And eventually I went and got my blood work tested, because I figured my fatigue was either coming from stress or something in my blood work. And before I went to the new job and said, this is stressing me out, I need a couple of days off, I figured I'd get my blood tested first. And the iron in your blood for women should be upwards of 30-35 at minimum, because your monthly cycle, when you lose all that blood, you lose a lot of iron. So it should be a little bit higher, but it could be upwards of 80. Mine was at 7. And what I realized was the Optifer that I was taking had 11 milligrams of elemental iron per tablet. So I was taking 33 milligrams a day, whereas I was taking 180 of the ferrous sulfate. And it only took a few months of that for it to deplete everything that I had. So even taking 30 milligrams a day didn't keep my levels where I had built them up to be in the months prior. They just dropped, because I'm not getting enough in the food that I eat. So gosh darn it, folks, take your vitamins. It's so important. The other thing I didn't realize is how important calcium is. And what I'm about to tell you, I didn't know until my dietitian and the nurse at the clinic told me. So I always thought, because you can't take your calcium with your iron, they cancel each other. And I take a giant handful of vitamins in the morning, and I don't remember to take anything throughout the day. You're lucky I can remember to blink. I'm so busy. And so it's very hard for me to take, and you can't take any more than 1,200 milligrams of calcium at any given time, because your body won't absorb it. And so it's just a waste. So I could take, the 2,400 milligrams that they're recommending at once, but it's a waste. It'll just get peed out. So they recommend that you take 2 1,200 milligram or 2 600 milligram doses. I forget what it is. Anyway, take calcium twice a day. That's the recommendation. And so, sorry. Oh, thank you. So I have soy milk, I have yogurt, I eat cheese. I don't eat it in the quantities that I had before, but I was eating some sort of dairy a couple of times a day. And so I figured, you know what, it's fine. If it comes up in my blood because I'm getting blood work done every 3 months. So if it comes up in my blood work that my calcium is low, then I'll make a habit of it. Well, folks, here's the thing. If your blood doesn't have the calcium that it requires, it will leach it from your bones. This is what causes osteoporosis. Your blood doesn't have the calcium it needs for whatever reason. You're not producing it, you're not ingesting it, you're not taking a supplement, whatever the case. Your blood will always show that it has enough calcium in your blood work, because if it's not getting it from your food or your supplements or from whatever, it'll take it from your bones and it'll deplete your bone density. That's what I didn't know. So I was relying, because they're testing your calcium for a completely different reason. But I assumed that if I had an issue with calcium in my blood, that it would show up, and it won't. The only way you will know if you have a bone density issue, if your blood is leaching calcium from your bones in order to function, is if they do a bone density test. And I believe that the clinic that I went to, that I'm a part of, they recommend the bone density test after 2 years, just to make sure that you don't have any issues. But yeah, so take your calcium, guys. I'm gonna be honest, I don't take calcium twice a day. I take 2 giant calcium pills at night before I go to bed. That way they're not interfering with anything else. And then I eat my cheese and my dairy and my yogurt and soy milk, and I try to get quite a bit of dairy in during the day. So I'm good. The last thing I want to talk about, because we're getting close to the 20-minute mark of this 1-year update, is hair. Oh boy, did I lose hair. Now, I didn't lose hair where I thought I was going to need a wig, but it's very, very thin. And my hair it feels like it has stopped growing. I cut it short a few months ago, and right now it has been at this length for months. I've been trying to let it grow, and it's not growing, and it's still falling out, and it's still thin. Let's do hair and skin as a combo. I suffered from acne my whole life, even into adulthood. I was all proactive, all kinds of acne lines. I was covered all the time. There was no break. Since surgery, I get 1 breakout once a month. You know that time. I usually get 1 pimple. It usually heals up in a couple of days, and that's it. That's all I get. It's wild. My skin is a little drier, but I think that stems from not being hydrated. Oh, P.S. Last note on the hydration. I started to get lightheaded and dizzy every time I stood up, whether it was from kneeling on the ground, from sitting on the ground, from getting up off the couch. Doesn't matter. Every time I got up, I got dizzy. It was from not having enough water. It was from being dehydrated. So if this is happening, I'm not saying ignore the symptoms, because it could be something else, but try, before you panic, try to drink more water. It really does help. I know when I am dehydrated and when I've had enough water, because at the end of the night, I'll get up off the couch to go to bed and I won't be lightheaded. But if I get up and I have to hold myself against the wall, I know that I haven't drank enough water. That's it. That's my surprises. That's it. Things will keep going. And I have my 1-year checkup at the clinic tomorrow. I don't know if they'll discharge me. I don't know if we'll continue on. I don't know much. I know that this was a gift that was given to me. I am the luckiest person alive to have been recommended to this clinic, to have my insurance, my provincial health insurance cover this, and to have lost the weight that I have. And I am determined to make it work and not to relapse into very terrible old habits. And I'm terrified that I will. But it was a gift, and I'm thankful to everybody at the clinic and all the doctors and the nurses and everybody who's helped me, and Corey, who is my almost husband, for all of his support and his help, and my family for their support, and they saved my life. If you're on the fence, do it. I wish I had done this 10 years ago. We're gone over the 10 minutes, and I don't know if YouTube will let me upload this, but I just want to say, don't think about it. The discomfort and the risks are far outweighed by the benefits and the changes that your life will bring. My personality hasn't changed, but my priorities are so completely different. It's saved my life. So do it. Don't think about it. Don't be scared. Just do it.